Hi Moonies! Welcome to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. I'm your host, Victoria L. Johnson, aka Miss Old School, and I'm here with Geneva, aka GDBee. She's one of the best artists out there. You may know her from some of the beautiful and magical artwork that often goes viral, and she's also the creator of the webtoon HoverGirls. And of course, she's a Sailor Moon fan. So I'm so happy to have her on the show. Hi Geneva, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So much. So, what was your first memory of watching Sailor Moon?
Oh my gosh. I think it was when I was like 8 years old when it came on at like 6 a.m. or so, and I was like I didn't realize 6 a.m. was like an actual real time, so I just kind of get up as early as possible to like try to watch this like magical show that else was talking about, probably because it was like on at 6 a.m. But yeah, I didn't even know what it was called for like the longest time, was always caught it in the middle of the episode. But yeah, I thought for a long time I thought I was like kind of not dreaming, but I was making it up. But yeah, that's the first memory of watching Sailor Moon.
I could totally get that, just like that haziness of the morning, just like, what's going on? What is this show? Especially with a show like Sailor Moon, where it's like the transformations, and it just seems so. Oh, how did you feel? What were you thinking?
Um, I was like, oh wow, this is cool. I love the colors. I love when they're fighting. I like for the longest time I actually like liked all the villains, and I didn't like when they got like messed up. So I was like, how can this be real? Or how like I wanted this to be real because I was 8 and silly. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that too. Well, when did you first like figure out it was Sailor Moon? Like, when did you were able to put two and two together?
I think my sister told me because she was also watching it, but she had her own like TV, I think, at the time. And I'm like, I just asked her, do you know about this? And she's like, yeah, this is Sailor Moon. This is like a thing that everyone watches. And she's 3 years older than me, so she was in the know at that point in time.
Oh wow, yeah, siblings for the win. My brother actually put me on to Sailor Moon, so and yeah, and then Jackie, who was in our first episode, her brother put her on to Sailor Moon, so siblings have been very integral in this. I've noticed. Um, did you have a Sailor Senshi or Sailor Scout you wanted to be?
Definitely, and I'm probably gonna switch between like the Eastern and Western names on this, but definitely Rini or Chibi Moon, I think, or Mini Moon. Either one. Either one of
Yeah,
those.
no, I do the same thing. I'll be like Usagi or Serena, Mamoru, Durarian, Sailor Senshi, Scout. So it's totally fine. Everyone comes from all walks of life to Sailor Moon. um, so fast forward, and now you have your own Magical Girl webtoon. So what made you decide to switch from being, or not switch from, but like starting out? You started out as kind of like an artist, and then switching to making a comic book or a webtoon.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Sorry, no good. You're fine. As so, what made you want to start a webtoon, basically?
Um, I'm trying to shorten a long story. So I was really into comics when I was a middle schooler or through high school, like really, really into them. Like that's all that I would do or think about. Um, but stopped when I became an adult and then kind of discovered, I guess, self-discovered comics again and how much I love them. So I'm like, wow, I want to be a part of this story and just throw something out there and just like be a part of the comics spectrum for at least a moment and try it out and see how I like it. So yeah, that's like the first step in making this webcomic.
Cool. What comics were you reading at the time?
Um, a lot of like old stuff. Honestly, just going through Inuyasha and Fooly Cooly again, all the stuff everyone's heard about. And my husband has like a giant like manga collection that I'm slowly going through.
That sounds that sounds awesome. What's his most like prized completed collection?
Oh man, he really loves Haruhi. Like he has everything. Haruhi, I think.
That's cool. So, for people who haven't read HoverGirls yet, how would you describe it?
Is let's see, it is two cousins who move to like fake LA or like LA adjacent, except it's rainy. And on the beach, they mysteriously get magic powers, and then one of them is super into it and wants to use it for fame, and the other basically hates it.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's so funny to me. I really love that concept that she's just like, "Oh, I'm going to be on like Instagram and, you know, like cuz that's so real."
Yeah, that's like the first thing you would think of. Like, well, I've got this thing that no one else can do. I might as well just start making money off of it or start getting
Right.
famous off of it.
Yeah, or even just like leaning into like, "Oh, I'm going to be a superhero and like I'm making my costume." Like I really love her for that. Um so how did the idea for the story come about too? Because it's really unique.
Oh my gosh. I don't I don't have a good answer. Like I'm kind of going like making up as I go along. I mean, there's a planned ending and everything, but the idea just started off like really kind of as straightforward as that. And I'm like, but what if there's this, and then what if there's that, and then I try to pull everything together so it'll make sense. Um, did that answer the question?
I think so. But also like what like how did you come up with the idea for like the having the like the villain and they're like these fish people like from another planet um and just yeah, how did you come up with that idea?
Um, I well maybe because I was like scared of fish growing up.
Really?
Yeah, that feels really silly to say, but especially starfish, they still actually kind of freak me out today. But so I think that kind of subconsciously became that, and I've never really seen a like aquatic alien thing done before, so yeah, hopefully that was a little bit different than what you normally see.
It is. I wasn't expecting that at all. I get that though, because starfish are kind of creepy and jellyfish are kind of creepy too. Yeah, that makes sense. That's so funny. And like, did so like are the main characters based on anyone like you and your sister?
No, not really. I think well actually Kim is kind of like me in the way she acts is basically me, except I don't talk much. So I oh my gosh, they might both be me and one not talking much and one uh acting the way she does, and I just realized that. But they weren't like modeled after anyone in particular. Just I wanted them to be like opposites in a way, and that's how like opposites, but still agreeable.
Right.
Yeah,
That makes sense. And especially like them being cousins, like there's a natural like caring for each other. I guess we that's with friends too though.
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That's fun. So you mentioned your favorite mangas or like the mangas you've read. Do you have a favorite anime or top 5 favorite anime or favorite webtoon?
Let me think real quick. Yeah, I have so many. I really love Cells at Work in particular,
Mhm.
and of course, I want to see Inuyasha again. So I think that was probably just every anime girl's childhood show. Um, I'm like recounting the list. My apologies.
No, you're good. I'm like 1, 2, 3. Inuyasha's great for sure. Definitely spent many like 3 a.m. nights just like catching it on TV.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. It's so classic.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm still going through this.
No, you're fine. I mean, it doesn't have to be 5. It seemed.
Yeah. On the spot, could I go with those two?
Yeah,
So you're
yeah,
gonna have to
yeah.
make like a whole flow chart. I apologize.
No, you're completely fine. Like every time I get put on the spot, I immediately forget everything I know about like whatever someone's asking about.
Yeah.
Do you read any other webtoons?
Yes,
Mm.
let's see. I really love one called in particular called Saint Catherine. I don't think it's
Mm.
sponsored by Webtoons, but
Mm-hmm.
it's about a girl. I think she's just struggling with her like religious routine, and I think she gets possessed by a demon. And
That
it's also very relatable in its
that sounds
approach.
that sounds really cool and interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else are you a fan of? Like super fan? Like obviously we're both really big fans of Sailor Moon, but like I'm also like a big fan of Beyonce and like I'm trying to think what else I'm a fan of.
um, I'm a huge fan of honestly Final Fantasy stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
might see like hints of that. And actually after HoverGirls, I was going to do a kind of D&D modern Final Fantasy-esque like funny thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Like funny comic strips. But I really love just Final Fantasy stuff and their lore and stuff like that. And video games with like lore, like Bloodborne and such. Like anything
Right.
with lore, I really get close to. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense because especially like a lot of your art tends to be very fantasy leaning.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean it's true. Um, like what I guess too, what made you want to like start creating like especially like you create a lot of black women in like fantasy realms like we typically don't see often. Um, what made you want to like show black women as like witches and like magical beings and elves and you know things we see in like Lord of the Rings, but you know not as black people.
Well, I've been, liking the D&D stuff. I grew up drawing since I was like 7, but I struggled with drawing my own skin color for the longest time. Not until I was like 17 or so. And like it hit around then, like why do I struggle drawing my own skin color? Why do my characters all basically look Caucasian? And if I never tried to draw myself either because I was like I don't know how to handle my own skin color. So I guess I did some self-reflection um, and just like figured out what is something I haven't seen growing up, and it's stuff like this that I would have really loved um, and really, excuse me, really gotten attached to um, growing up because I loved all that fantasy stuff, but of course you don't see, you know, basically any brown people in any of this. You see like more like animal people than brown people. So
Yeah,
yeah,
literally. Yeah.
so that's the reason, and yeah, it's also very fun to try darker skin colors and put a bunch of colors, like a bunch of other colors, and mix them with dark skin colors is actually really enjoyable for me.
And it ends up being really gorgeous, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh wait, so did we ever? Oh yeah, you said Final Fantasy, and then we got into this tangent. Okay, got it. And do you have advice for any other artists who want to like build an online following or start a webtoon?
Um, Probably don't don't sweat it. Like there's probably like a billion mistakes in my webtoon, honestly. But I'm trying not to sweat them because I'm mostly doing it for fun, and just do it to have fun. Um, just draw if you're having fun with drawing, just draw to have fun. Of course, practicing is important too, but like don't stress it. It's only time. It's only it's just a matter of time before you get at the level you want to be at. So just try to enjoy like the ride, you know?
That makes sense. I think that's a really chill way to go about it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so just like Sailor Moon had her Sailor Moon says phrase at the end of every episode. What would your like phrase be? Like Geneva says.
Huh. Oh, that's a good question. That's an interesting question. Chill out, have a good time.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I think that is a vibe we can all get with.
Yeah.
Chill
That's
out,
kind of
have
what
a
I.
good time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
That's kind of what I try to draw a lot too. Is just like relax, you know, be cool. Especially at a time like this. I think the most intense thing I've probably ever drawn in a while is this webcomic. So, yeah.
And then one other thing, who's your favorite Sailor Scout?
Oh my gosh. Also still Mini Moon. It's just
Right.
the pink hair. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And where can people find you if they want to like find your artwork or find your webtoon?
Yeah, on Webtoons, the webcomic is called HoverGirls, HoverGirls. And for my normal art, you can find it on Instagram and Twitter, um, and Facebook. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll just add that Hover Girls is one word.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This is
It's
so much
wonderful.
fun. Yeah, I'm always happy to talk Sailor Moon with people, anyone,
Yeah.
at any moment's notice.
Thank you so much.